Hi everybody, Michael Stever here, coming to you from New York City's historic West Village. You know, it's been nearly 25 years since Carrie the musical first splashed her bloody swath across the New York stage. And needless to say, fans of this legendary cult classic have been chomping at the bit to see her brought back, myself included. Well, Carrie freaks, it would appear our wait is over, as everybody's favorite prom date from hell has set up shop for a limited run at the historic Lucille Lortel Theater. You know, for the last couple of weeks I've been lucky enough to speak with not only several major players in Carrie's production team, but some other members of our entertainment community as well. And if there is one figurehead in American pop culture that people cannot seem to get enough of, it is our beloved, bloody, creepishly scary Carrie White.
Today, being our first preview, you can tell that there is a buzz in the air in the theater about Carrie. An excitement about this production and about bringing it back to the boards. We're very excited about tonight and what hopefully it's going to just kind of create in the audience.
I think there are a lot of people, especially the youth today, that can relate to Carrie on one level or another, because I think most of us at one time or another feel like we're the outsider, to feel like we're the underdog.
Carrie came out November of '76, the month I turned 6, and I remember sitting on my dad's shoulders at the Macy Thanksgiving Day Parade, seeing the marquee and all that, those twisted letters.
When people heard that we were trying to start this up again, we've heard from people from every single generation, every age bracket, who come to us and say, oh, Carrie is my story. It's my story. And it's not the provenance of anybody in their 70s or their 30s or their teens. It belongs to everybody.
Stephen King had decided had thrown the original draft of Carrie out, and his wife rescued it from the garbage and said, no, you have to do this. You have to write this. But thank God. Where would he be today if he hadn't first started with Carrie?
For his first novel to have this kind of prescience in writing a fable about the outsider and the misfit in high school.
And for me, that's what Carrie represents, a kind of illumination of the human condition, as opposed to an entertainment that distracts from it.
I was very touched last night at watching Carrie, the musical. It just really got me in the pit of my stomach, and at the end of the first act, I was just weeping.
Well, Carrie is a movie that actually, one of the things that made me want to go to college to become a filmmaker, just because I found the whole scene with the prom and everything just so well orchestrated, and I said, it's beautiful. I want to do that. It moved me. It was the whole, wow.
The opening number has such great energy, and it's very exciting to watch, and it's called In. It talks about being in, being part of the in crowd.
Why not now? When will I belong? Where I am today, my whole feels wrong. What if I do? Snap! Holy crap! I crawl out of my skin, and so will you, 'cause life just doesn't begin.
And it does set the stage right immediately, that you know that the emphasis of this production is going to be a lot about Carrie being an outsider and about the bullying aspect that I think was a lot of the focus.
That's not my name. Doesn't anybody ever get it right? Carrie, why don't they remember I'm Carrie White? Carrie, is it any harder to say than goddamn cold, spastic and weirdo and dumb bitch?
Really appreciate the focus on bullying and you kind of adopting that as kind of a catchphrase, which is interesting, and that bullying seems to have taken on a whole new life of its own in this country over the last couple of years.
Well, it's very true. You know, when you think of when this book was written, when Stephen King wrote the book back in 1974, and it was a story about an outsider in the kind of high school environment, and, you know, he didn't label it bullying back then. But
There was no label.
There was no label.
40 years later, after the writing of this book, it is more resonant and more relevant and sadly truer than it ever was. In addition, the entire religious aspect of the piece, which was back when I did the movie and when we did the show, regarded as more of a fringe element to the piece, has come front and center in a very particular way that what was regarded as over the top or slightly exaggerated. One looks at Michelle Bachmann, one looks at any number of people out there today who are saying these in the most matter-of-fact ways that make Margaret White, I mean, we have Carrie as the
Pale in comparison.
Precisely right.
It's a good horror story because it gives you characters that you can relate to, that you can understand. Thank God I didn't have that mother.
Well, I thought my duty as an actress was to get as deeply into who she was as possible and not play it for the superficially or for the cliches, to try to just dig in and make it substantial.
You're a woman now.
It may not have been exactly as it was intended.
Why didn't you tell me, Mama?
It's funny because I went to 13 years of Catholic school, and I have to say that, I mean, I didn't have a mother at all like Piper Laurie, nothing like that, no. But the thing is, I just remember, like, my goodness, I was like, what is this all about? Like, why is she beating her with the Bible and all that?
When Margaret Wright dragged Carrie into the closet, I was so moved.
The sin was man. What have I done? I see your sinning just begin.
Oh my! I was kind of out of body.
Pray your dear will burn you.
I wondered if that's how people felt when they were watching me with Sissy Spacek.
We'll pray. No! We'll pray, woman. No! Pray for our lost souls.
I remember being terrified when Piper Laurie is dragging her daughter into the closet, and that claustrophobia that just came over, that horrible feeling of being locked and shut down, and the terror and the darkness and the tiny space that she was in. And when you watch Betty Buckley in the clip drag her daughter across the floor and just pull her into a trap door and shove her underground, you again get that horrible claustrophobic feeling.
Born out of a frustration. It's born out of a lack of communication and frustration as opposed to real strength of character and communication. So I think in some ways, dare I speak globally, society's taking this kind of turn about our frustrations, and we're not really dealing with those core issues, whatever they may be, that causes bullying.
Bullying's always been around.
It's always been there.
It's always been there.
I can imagine cavemen bullying the smallest cave hunter, drawing pictures of that he was the littlest one and the mammoth was chasing him.
It's been in the news a lot. It wasn't the reason that we went back, but we kept feeling that there was a resonance in this original material that kept providing us with more insights, particularly looking at it from today. And yeah, bullying is a part, and it is unfortunate, but I think this piece speaks strongly about bullying.
I get the impression that this is one of the current things that the press like find it easy to talk about on their news shows. To me, it's a crutch.
I mean, people were bullied. I mean, we all went through bullying in school. I mean, like, people just, like, there's the class bully and all that stuff. There's always some, somebody who's not raised very well by white trash parents, or whatever you want to say.
It's the same as slavery existed for so many years and years, and no one thought anything of it until we became more enlightened.
I don't know if it's any worse now or not. I really don't know.
It's still a revenge fantasy, isn't it?
Well, I think inevitably, anyone who is an outsider and anyone who has experienced that kind of venom or hatred, there's always a little bit of a kind of revenge fantasy in all of us. So that obviously stays very true in this piece.
So she still brings the house down?
She will always bring the house down, yes, absolutely.